Now, not too long ago, we heard about this very lightly, that Star Wars Episode 9 would let us actually look at both the prequels and the originals in a different way and change our perception of the films. Whether or not that's a good or a bad thing is a huge question on the table right now. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, one thing that we do know about Episode 9 by J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio is that this movie really is going to change history within the Star Wars Skywalker saga. And that is a huge deal because to me, that's a big risky move by Disney and Lucasfilm, and it could either go, through a good or a bad way here for the fans, the community, and everybody that goes around within the Star Wars franchise. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film when it comes to some of the set leaks, the set designs, the concept art and storyboard descriptions, etc. However, what's really intriguing is that Episode 9 is actually said to reset portions of the prequel trilogy era in the Star Wars franchise within the Skywalker saga itself. Now, we heard about this lightly a couple of weeks ago, about the prequel trilogy being somewhat retconned with Star Wars Episode 9. And I really wanted to jump into this discussion because it's a very interesting thing for sure. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I, like I have said before in the past, think that it is indeed a risky move to reset portions of the prequel trilogy with Star Wars Episode 9 being the tool to do so. And one of the big rumors right now is that a portion within the prequel trilogy that will be reset/retconned has all to do with the Chosen One portion of the entire prequel trilogy era. Now, the Chosen One had all to do with Anakin Skywalker, right? In Revenge of the Sith, Attack of the Clones, and of course, The Phantom Menace. The whole entire aspect of the Chosen One was a very interesting part of the Star Wars universe that was introduced by writer and director George Lucas. So, going into the making of The Last Jedi, before it even released, it was unveiled that Luke Skywalker at one point in time thought that Kylo Ren was the Chosen One. So Kylo Ren was actually thought to be the Chosen One by his own uncle Luke Skywalker. Mark Hamill said this in an article many months ago. It was well before, actually it was over a year ago. It was well before The Last Jedi even dropped. So, what's really intriguing to me is how certain pieces of the prequels will be reset by use of Episode 9, and one of the big rumors, like I say, is changing the Chosen One and who the Chosen One will be in Star Wars Episode 9. Now, I believe, obviously, this has all to do with two main characters. Either Kylo Ren or Rey will be the Chosen One in the final Skywalker saga film. Only makes sense, right? I think that what's going to happen is that in this movie, we're going to learn who the true Chosen One is, and that's going to be the exact way that Disney and Lucasfilm will indeed reset the prequel trilogy era itself, because that'll actually change our perception of the prequels where, let's say, for example, if Rey does end up being the Chosen One in Episode 9, we're going to look at, The Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith in a totally different way. Even the original trilogy, one would also argue that Luke Skywalker was once the Chosen One. So now in the sequels, J.J. Abrams could very well be exploring the true Chosen One. So I believe that's going to be the exact reason and, the big deal as to how the prequel trilogy is going to be reset somewhat by Star Wars Episode 9. Now, the other possibility has all to do with Jedi lore and stuff like that. As far as everything else goes, guys, I just really wanted to talk about this further. What do you guys think about this? Is this a good or a bad thing to reset portions of The Phantom Menace and Revenge of the Sith and Attack of the Clones? I gotta say, say what you will about the prequels, but they are very different within the Star Wars franchise. And what I love so much about Star Wars, if you look at all of the trilogies, they all have a different feel now, don't they? Of course, the originals are always going to hold that classic feel, that classic movie feel, from the 70s and the 80s. I love it. It's great. Then you look at the prequels, and that was pretty much the rise of CGI and new graphics and different techniques by use of technology. We saw all of these different concepts coming into play with the prequels. Then in the sequels, alright, we pretty much got Star Wars in the modern day of filmmaking, right? how a modern Star Wars movie would be like. Honestly, I do feel that The Last Jedi does need a lot of fixing, and it is going through some fixing to a certain extent in Episode 9, which is another thing to look forward to in this movie. J.J. Abrams is already putting back together the lightsaber hilt that once belonged to Anakin. He is indeed rebuilding Kylo Ren's helmet, and not only that, the Knights of Ren are back, and other aspects of The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi that weren't present in The Last Jedi, I must add, will be actually inserted into this movie. So the prequels, to me, I feel should be untouched. That's my, personal opinion. They should be untouched, unaltered, and not to be dealt with when it comes to Episode 9. However, if it's for the greater good, if it's actually going to change things for the better, I think then yes, it's a good idea to do so. If this rumor does end up to be true, that a part of Episode 9 resetting the prequel trilogy has all to do with the Chosen One being changed in Episode 9, I'm not quite sure how I'm going to feel about that. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.